At the end of the last chapter, it really seemed like King Nebuchadnezzar saw the power and the glory of God, didn't it?
Seemed like it.
It really did. Like, it seemed like, I mean, he fell prostrate before Daniel and said those things about giving, he's the God of gods and the Lord of kings.
It seemed like he proclaimed God above himself.
It seemed like he did, but maybe, I guess he changed his mind.
Yeah.
So now we're in chapter 3, and King Nebuchadnezzar made an image of gold, 90 feet high and 9 feet wide, and set it up on the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon.
He basically made a rule that, like, whenever a trumpet...
all kinds of music,
whenever you hear the sound of the horn, the flute, the harp, the lyre, the symphony with all kinds of music, you shall fall down and worship the gold image that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up.
Whoever does not fall down and worship will immediately be thrown into a blazing furnace. No pressure.
So, clearly, he's gotten over this scary vision that he had, and the fact that there might be a Lord out there that is almighty and powerful, and he wants to throw people in a furnace if they don't bow down to a gold image.
And of course, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego they are followers of God, and so they do not bow down to Nebuchadnezzar's statue. And some people are tattletales, and they are like, hey, look at them, they're not bowing down to your statue. And then, furious with rage, Nebuchadnezzar summons them, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and they were brought before the king, and he asked them if it's true that they did not serve his gods or worship the image that he set up. And they said, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, this is verse 17, this is really good, 17 and 18. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to save us from it, and he will rescue us from your hand. But even if he does not, we want you to know, O king, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up.
So verse 18 is my favorite because Daniel follows up his proclamation of knowing that God will protect him by saying, but even if he doesn't, he's still not going to bow down. A lot of us don't do that, I don't think. A lot of us don't, maybe enough, we don't do that. We don't do that enough where...
About saying, like, even if he doesn't, and giving glory to him. That's funny because I feel like I do that a lot. And this is really refreshing because I'm always hesitant to say, like, God will do this.
Right.
So I do always say, like,
well, me
or
too.
even if he doesn't.
Right. Well, me too. That's why I like this, is because it's such a great reminder, because it's almost to have that sort of, like, reverence that whatever God decides is best for my life, even if it feels like I'm going to suffer or die, I still trust him with utilizing that decision for the greater good.
Yeah. And I mean, that's like the main point of this whole book, so it's perfect.
Yeah. One of my favorite songs is Even If by MercyMe. Basically, we know how powerful and almighty God is. We know that he can save us from a fiery furnace, but even if he doesn't, we still want him in our lives.
You haven't guessed it yet, he saves them. So Nebuchadnezzar orders that the fire be like as hot as it can be, like 7 times hotter than normal in the furnace.
Really mad.
Yeah, really mad. And then they tie up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and throw them in the furnace. And the fire was so hot that the people who threw them in the furnace died. But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego did not die. They were saved. They came out unscathed. Nebuchadnezzar looked into the furnace and he saw a 4th person with them, which I believe it says like a son of God. It's assumed to be possibly Jesus with them. And then he calls them out of the furnace and they're fine. God has protected them.
So after Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are fetched from the fiery furnace, unscathed. They don't even smell like smoke. Then Nebuchadnezzar once again recognizes the God of Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego by saying, verse 29, therefore, I, Nebuchadnezzar, make a decree that any people, nation, or language which speaks anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made an ash heap, because there is no other God who can deliver like this.
Yeah, that's an intense decree. So it appears again, he is praising God. It sounds like he learns